My name is Jaden Hong, and I am a student at Eslick High School. As a youth advisor with the University of Washington Youth Advisory Board, I've worked on youth technology use and digital well-being based on input from thousands of students and families across Washington. From a youth care perspective, how can the state address the mental health and developmental impacts of emerging technologies like AI and social media outside of school, and what role should youth voice play in shaping prevention and support services? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. And I have been working hard on being part of solutions. AI is here, and it's important that we put guardrails on it for our youth. The facts that social media has been a huge life way for our children, and the facts that we have found out through teachers and parents that the social media has been disturbing some of our children and our youth in mental health. That's one of the reasons that I have been very involved in making sure that in my district, to start with, we have mental health services available to them by telehealth. I helped to introduce a company that was interested. It's their mission this year to get it out to rural areas. And so we have introduced them to the superintendents of schools in my district. And as of January 1, Granite Falls now has suicide prevention mental health available to all the kids that need it through telehealth and through group sessions in telehealth, hoping to get Darrington and Sultan up and running very soon also. The cell phone issue, is it a public, is it a local issue, or is it a state issue? I struggle with that. And we had in education committee, Stephanie McClintock has had a cell phone bill ready to run for 3 years, and we haven't been able to get it out. And that would make it a state mandated cell phone rule. But as I start to tour my school districts, I find out that they're already putting policy in place. And apparently, the easiest and best way to handle the cell phone issue that they are telling me is that the kids put the cell phone in the backpack. As they come in the classroom, they put the backpack next to the wall away from their desk. So it's easy, accessible if there's a serious issue at school and they need to call their parents. That seems logical to me. But it is a policy, and schools need to be making sure that they're concentrating on making sure that our kids are safe. We need to empower our parents and help them teach their kids how important it is that they have off time away from the cell phone. Whatever happened to the dinner time with the family where there's no cell phone? What a great thing to bring back to our community and to our families if we could instill that new practice that was very old but really good for communication. One of the things we're finding is that society is becoming secluded. Because of the cell phone issue, we are not expanding our friendship base. That was one of the reasons I started a group called Women in Motion last year, just to bring women together so that we could meet new friends and to find out what great things they're doing.
Thanks, Jaden. I appreciate all the thought and effort you're putting into this, as AI is probably one of the biggest new emerging technologies that we're trying to understand and come up with policies to maintain our mental health and our youth ability to make sure that we're not abusing a system or setting our kids up for failure. One of the most important things I think we can do right now is make sure we're involving youth voice in this kind of early stages of developing policies. We have the Legislative Youth Advisory Council, which is LIAC, at the state level, that I think like your youth advisory council in Lake Washington would kind of report to. Not sure if they might be willing to take the lead on an interim discussion where over the next 7 to 8 months you can bring those ideas to the table, and maybe we can develop some legislative ideas or budget requests that might help work on this policy further. But I think youth voice is really important in this. My fourth grader was just down in Olympia on a tour last week, and we did a mock bill hearing on whether or not we should adopt Australia's policy of eliminating social media, for example, for youth under the age of 16. And they had a really heated discussion, and I think they came up with some better solutions than maybe the adults would have. And believe it or not, these fourth graders were more in favor of those restrictions than I realized. So that youth voice is going to be really important. So I would recommend really connecting early on in the next month or two with the Legislative Youth Advisory Council and seeing where we can go from there.